I couldn't help but notice your pain.
My pain?
It runs deep. Share it with me.
Welcome to the Bay to LA podcast, brought to you by Rios Therapeutics, a provider in all natural soaps and bath bombs. Come in many scents such as sky, mint, and rose, just to name a few. Great for relaxation, anxiety, and pain relief. I'm not a big guy on soaps, but I tried them out because I don't really like recommending products I don't use myself. And they were great. They don't leave you all filmy, like Dove soap tends to do, or they don't leave you over dry like, let's say, Irish Spring does. So go ahead, look them up on Instagram at Rios_therapeutics. There's gift baskets available with wine and champagne if you're trying to put something together for that someone special. So go ahead, check them out. Once again, Instagram, Rios_therapeutics. So let's see what we're getting into today's show. If you don't know that song, the theme song for today is Pain by Tupac from the Above the Rim soundtrack. And if you don't know that movie, then you got to check it out. It's probably one of the best basketball movies ever made. It was made in 1994, I believe. And I'd put it up there with White Men Can't Jump, Will Ferrell's Semi-Pro, and Hoosiers. So why the pain theme for this episode, since the last one was somewhat optimistic and realistic? The pain for this one is because we're at that time of year where it's painful for all Laker fans and 49ers fans because Laker basketball is over. We didn't make it to the playoffs. And we're right before the draft when it comes to 49er football, so we don't know who's going to be on the team yet before we start the offseason program. And to me personally, I just hate this time of year because, like I said, Lakers ain't playing, and I really don't care for the draft part of the year. I know a lot of people like getting excited for this part, and, to me, I freaking hate it because it's just mock draft after mock draft, 1 round, 2 rounds, 7 rounds, mock draft. Everybody throws their bullshit, guesses out. And it's really annoying because nobody ever gets it right. Even the guys that get paid for it, they're rarely right. So I just like to see how the draft plays out and go from there and start the off-season workouts and, start to build optimism to see once we got people. So we're going to go over a couple different things on the format today. Since it is a Lakers and 49ers podcast, I'm going to break it up into 2 parts because, even though I make this for 49ers and Laker fans, there might be 49er fans that aren't Laker fans, and there are Laker fans that aren't 49er fans. So I'll break it up for you guys. I'll also upload the full episode, and then I'm going to break it up into parts so you can just listen to each part if you want to do that. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, also, with every episode, there's going to be on a YouTube channel I started, the Beta LA podcast, same name. It's what I call a meme show. It's basically the podcast, but it's a video that you could watch along with it that has memes, and I'll also throw video clips in there when I'm talking about specifics so you guys can follow along with that. But it just makes it a little more entertaining, at least I think, some funny memes in there so you don't just have to listen to it. Maybe the pictures make it a little simpler to follow, but we'll see how it goes. Give me some feedback if you like it, if you hate it. Let me know. I'm trying to make the show better, trying to make it the best that you guys will want to listen to. So if you have any feedback, you can reach me on Twitter at Bay Podcast. Pretty simple, pretty sweet. You guys should be able to remember that. So let's see what we got going on around the league. We're going to focus on the NFL portion, the 49ers portion of the show first. We're going to start off with what's going on around the league and how it affects the 49ers, and then we'll just kind of get more into the 49ers as we go on. So apparently there's a new hit rule that the league just implemented where players can't lead with their helmet or they'll get penalized 15 yards. And our very own Richard Sherman and Josh Norman have come out against it and had said it's basically going to be impossible to tackle people because it's, if you're in the box trying to get a running back, how do you not use your head, or how do you not lead with your head when you're trying to tackle somebody? It's going to be a lot of senseless penalties that are going to slow up the game. For the defensive players, it's going to be almost impossible to tackle, but, since Richard Sherman's the one that's out complaining about it, I just look at it like this. I mean, you haven't been able to hold a receiver more than 5 yards for a couple years now, and that didn't seem to stop him then. He didn't really care about that. He still did it all the time. So, Sherman, just play your game. Can't lead with your helmet. Just continue to do it. What's that Seattle mantra? They can't call every penalty. So there's going to be a lot of penalties, but, I don't think the players can adjust that much because some things you just can't change. If you're tackling, it's only natural instinct to kind of lead with your head. So we'll see how it affects the game this season, and if it's detrimental and slows down the game and really pisses people off, I'm pretty sure they'll take it off next season. Let's see. Chris Borland's in the news. I don't know if, I'm pretty sure people remember him, our stud linebacker we had for a year. He's in the news now for helping those players in retirement because like most athletes and same with people in military, the transition from being in the action, the adrenaline, to just being a civilian, normal life, not having that as part of your routine is very difficult to transition over to. And even though I think Chris Borland's a quitter for quitting on us, I just have strong feelings about him. I do commend him for taking part in this program and starting it because he himself admitted that the transition wasn't as easy as he thought it would be. So, that's always good. He's helping other people. Appreciate that. And let's see here. I know the draft's coming up in about a week. I got to be honest with you guys. I don't really watch college football. I kind of hate it. Because it's not the same as NFL football. The game doesn't translate the same. To me, all college players suck until they actually get in the NFL and do something worth a damn. Take quarterbacks, for instance. They got 60, 70% completion percentages in college and comes to the NFL and can't hit over 55%. It's because right now, college is just a spread bubble screen offense game. That's all it is. So I don't really care for it much. But if you guys are interested in the draft, I would highly recommend Nothing But Niners. They're on Twitter at Nothing But Niners. They got the Nothing But Niners website. Those guys got some talent over there, and they go in depth when it comes to college players. I mean, they got graphics for all these players. They got written reports on all these guys. They got a lot of background. So if you're putting together a mock draft of your own, you want to follow along, go ahead, look at their information, check them out, hit them up with questions because they know the college players a lot better than I do. I only go by position and what we need. I don't care who we fill them with. I trust in Adam Peters, John Lynch, Kyle Shanahan, that they'll pick the right players. But I say, regardless of who they pick, they got to go edge first, then cornerback in with our second pick. The rest, they could fill a couple gaps. I'm not real high on wide receiver. I don't really care who our wide receiver is. I think as long as we got Kyle Shanahan and we got Garoppolo as a quarterback, you could throw in anybody off the street. They're going to make the offense click. So check out Nothing But Niners if you guys are interested in the draft and that whole process. I will have a show after the draft to see, because right now for this show we're going to go over the schedule because that just got released, and we'll go over the win-losses predictions. But those are bound to change depending on how the draft goes. So we'll do that, and then we'll have another schedule release when it comes to free agency and how that opens up, because there's going to be a lot of moving players, a lot of shifting parts. It's going to affect how a lot of teams are looked at. Got Reuben Foster made the news since the last time I made the show. It's not good. It's not good at all. He's in the news for all the wrong reasons. Reuben Foster has been charged with 3 felony counts, one being domestic violence. Depending on how you look at it, whether he's lucky or not, or if you don't care, the woman that accused him of domestic violence, or the other person involved in this, has hired a lawyer, and apparently it seems that she's not going to press charges, or she's not going to cooperate. The DA said that they don't care if she doesn't cooperate, they're still going to pursue charges. But the truth of the matter is, if she doesn't cooperate, seeing as she's the only other person really there, they don't have much of a case. This isn't like the Ezekiel Elliott case where the NFL and DA, they interviewed. Well, the NFL did. She didn't get much cooperation. He didn't get charged, but the NFL could still suspend Reuben Foster like they did Ezekiel Elliott if that woman cooperates, like the woman that was in the Ezekiel Elliott incident. She cooperated. She interviewed the NFL many times, so they had something to go on. If this woman doesn't cooperate with the DA or the NFL in the Reuben Foster matter, it's going to be very hard for them to do anything, really. They're not going to be able to suspend him because they're going to have to find some kind of other evidence. And the DA is not going to be able to press charges because they're going to need some kind of evidence. And she's basically it. They don't have her. They don't have anything. Now, I've seen a lot of people out on Twitter saying they don't care whether he's guilty or not anymore. Just the fact that he's charged, we should cut him, should let him go. He shouldn't be a part of this team. Kind of like Alden Smith 2.0. Reuben Foster separating the fan base just the same way. I'm a big guy on the legal process. It's just how I view every situation when it comes to legal matters. Let them play out. Whatever they decide, guilty or not guilty, that's what you go by. We can't judge everything in the court of public opinion. It doesn't work that way. And you guys see Twitter. If that's how things were, it'd be freaking chaos everywhere. Like, popular opinion is not the way to go. We got to let the process play out. Whatever evidence they have, submit it. Lawyers do their jobs, and at the end, whatever they decide, we abide by, we go by. John Lynch has come out, had an interview today, and said that if he's found guilty, he's no longer going to be a part of the team, so that's not even a question. In fact, I'll go ahead and play a little bit of the interview for you guys.
Into this because it's an ongoing legal process, and we're going to respect that. I do have a couple of thoughts in speaking for our organization, and speaking for Jed, and speaking for Kyle, and speaking for the York family. As you guys all know, and our release indicated, we take the gravity of these charges. Has not been lost on us. We take it extremely seriously. We do feel like patience is the right approach right now. That we're going to learn things through this legal process. But I do want to be very clear through this legal process. But I do want to be very clear, abundantly clear, that if these charges are proven true, if Reuben did indeed hit this young lady, he won't be a part of our organization going forward. And I think that's the standard we want on our team. That's the standard we're going to operate under. I would hope, having said that everybody could respect that. As I said, I've been advised and not at liberty to go into depth on these, and we can talk about the draft today. We've got a given amount of time in here, and I'm excited to get back to work, but understand and looking forward to speaking to all of you here for the next 20 minutes or so. And with that, I'll open it up.
And there you have it. So it looks like the 49ers are going to take the wait-and-see approach to see how the legal process plays out, which at the same time pissed off a lot of people because when Tremaine Brock had his accusation and Lynch and Kyle had just taken over, they dropped his ass in a hot second. I mean, they didn't even think about it. They just said it looks wrong, dropped him. Now that it's Reuben and the talent difference is greater, they're taking a wait-and-see approach, which could kind of look hypocritical, and I get that, but, it's sports. It is what it is. Talent, the more talented you are, the longer leash you get. That's just the way it goes, whether you like it or not. So the schedule came out for this year. About time, NFL, I give them props. They take the smallest little thing, they drag it out, and they make you salivate for it, and then they drop it on you, and we enjoy it. I mean, 16-game schedule release, and we're acting like we just got tickets to the Super Bowl. So I'll go over the schedule real quick, tell you who I picked to win and loss, and then our total record. By the way, Jimmy Garoppolo effect is real. We got 5 primetime games this year, which is a lot for a team that finished 6-10. So the league knows that we're on the up and coming. If anything, we're going to be exciting to watch, as the last 5 games of last year showed. So let's see. We got first week at the Vikings. I got us winning this game. We're going to play Kirk Cousins, quarterback who a lot of people thought would be a 49er at this time. Thank God he's not. And I'm not hating on him. I actually like Kirk Cousins. I wanted him until we got Jimmy Garoppolo. Then after that, it was like, okay, dodge that bullet. But they got a new quarterback and a new OC, new system. So I'll give us the edge just because we're going to be more prepared than they are. Week 2, we got a home game against the Detroit Lions. I got us winning against them because they also got a new head coach and new system. And even if they didn't, I don't think too highly of them. They're nothing to worry about. I'll take Garoppolo over Stafford. We got them. Week 3 at Kansas City. That one's going to be a little sketchy, but I got us winning it, even though we're traveling on the road, because we're going against a rookie QB. Pat Mahomes was my favorite quarterback coming out of college. And like I said, I don't really study, college players, but I clicked on the highlights of all the quarterbacks that were coming out that year, the little like mixtapes they put out. And to me, his highlights were the best just because of his ball placement, how he made throws, pocket or running. His placement on the ball was always just amazing. He always led his receivers, and that to me is a big thing. Like I don't care about college quarterbacks when you got 5 seconds to throw and, the person you hit doesn't have anybody 5 yards within him. But when someone's draped all over him and you put that, fit that ball where only the wide receiver can get it, that to me is impressive. So I got us so far 3 wins. Next game we got at the Chargers. I got us losing this game just because I feel it's going to be a trap game. We're going to be rolling. We're going to take the Chargers lightly, as most teams do, and I feel we're going to win that one. After them, we got Arizona Cardinals at home. Got us winning again because they're going to have Sam Bradford as the quarterback. And keep in mind, this whole schedule I'm looking through, the draft hasn't been done yet. I'm looking at all these teams as if everybody's healthy, 100%, full roster versus full roster, which is the better team. So versus Arizona, I got us winning, and that's assuming Bradford's playing. Now, I know what everybody wants to say. Most likely he won't be because he's made out of glass. So we'll see. Hopefully, I want us to beat teams at the best, so hopefully he's around and hopefully he plays. But even if he is, I don't really care. I'm pretty sure we could take him down. Next game got us at Green Bay. This is going to be a Monday night game, I believe, and I got us losing this game. Just because we're traveling, and Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers. Even though he's coming towards the end of his career, he's still Aaron Rodgers, and I don't feel we can win every game. And if we're going to lose, it's going to be to a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers. Next game, I got us at home versus the Rams. Got us losing that game. The Rams have done what I think is fear tactics this offseason. I think they fear what the 49ers are putting together, what they saw in Jimmy Garoppolo, and they're going all in as soon as possible to try to load that team up with as much talent before they have to pay their players, before they have to pay Goff, and to try to win it all now, because when they see how we're putting things together, we're building for the long run. We're building to have success year in, year out, not to hit some kind of cap wall and then all of a sudden have to blow it up and start over again. We're doing things the right way. They're gambling with their lives. They're playing Russian roulette, and I don't think it's going to come out well in the end for them. But they are going to be a stacked team, and when we play against them, I think we're going to lose that game. So I got us going at Arizona, road game the following week. Got us winning that one because it's still Arizona. It's still Sam Bradford, and he still might not be there. Oakland game, which I'm looking forward to, and I will be at. If you guys want to get together, we can get some kind of thing, some tailgating thing going on before the game. Got us winning on Thursday night. It's a home game. We have to win this game because I'm going to have a lot of money on it. But the main reason I know we're going to win is because this whole Gruden hype is just garbage. This isn't, 2002, 2003, whenever the hell they were in the Super Bowl. This isn't that year. This is a long time from then. And you can already tell during Gruden's interviews, he doesn't care for analytics. When you see the people he's signing, it's like he's trying to sign people from that year. He's signing a bunch of old vets who he thinks will help his antiquated style. I just don't think that he is going to be able to keep up with the way football's progressing. It's going to leave him in the dust. And his team's quickly going to fall apart on him. If they're by, I think we're at week 9 when we play them. If they're at let's say a 3-5 or something, he's going to lose that team quickly. he's going to have to shuffle players off, and he's going to be having a lot of roster turnover year in, year out till he gets some kind of squad to put together. But I don't think it's going to go well for him the first year, and especially not against us. Let's see. After that, we got New York Giants at home. I got us winning that game. I don't think Eli Manning's going to have enough if he's even playing at that time. They might have some kind of backup they're trying to condition to take over for him. So I don't see that happening. I don't see us losing that game. So we got a win versus the Giants. Followed up by a game at Tampa Bay, which we're going to lose because of the travel. Again, I don't like our odds when we travel. And I think Jameis Winston, what's his 5th year now? He might have a game against us. We'll see. Our defense depends how our pass rush is. I don't put too much stock in our secondary, especially Richard Sherman. I don't think he's the savior that people make him out to be. So if we can't get any pressure on Jameis Winston, we probably lose that game. Followed up by a game at Seattle the next week. I got us winning. We're finally going to win a game in Seattle. It's been, I don't know how many, I think since 2011 that we haven't won there. So we're finally due. It's finally going to happen. And it's going to be convincing. Although I don't think Seattle's going to be as bad as people make them out to be, because of they gutted their defense. I think they're doing things actually the right way as it pertains to the talent they got. You want to build around Russell Wilson, not a defense. You got a good quarterback. As much as we don't like him, we can't deny he's pretty damn good. He's made things happen when he's had next to nothing on offense, especially on the offensive line. I mean, that Swiss cheese offensive line has gotten him killed, and only because of his quickness, his lateral quickness, his small space quickness, he's gotten away, made plays, and kept himself from getting hurt while being successful. So the game, we'll take them down regardless. Denver the following week, we'll beat them. They got no chance against us. They still got Von Miller, but we still got Trent Brown. And, their love affair, whatever it is, he's always praising Trent Brown. So Trent Brown will put him down, stop him. He won't be a factor in that game. So we got that win. Followed up, we're playing Seattle Seahawks at home. I got us winning and sweeping them for the year. They need to know it's not their time. We're coming up, and that's how we show to them and show the league, by sweeping a team that has just been whooping our ass year in and year out. So that's going to be a statement game at home. Followed up by another game at home against the Chicago Bears. I got us winning. Although I like Trubisky, I don't think that he's going to do well against our defense. I think we're going to eat him up. He's going to make some mistakes against our secondary, and we'll win that game. Last game of the season is against the Rams, and I have us losing. So I have the Rams sweeping us. Now, before you get upset, I have us playing them a third time in the playoffs. They're not going to win that playoff game. So let them get their wins in the season. Let them get their hopes up. Let them get that confidence up. We'll smash it right down in the playoff as we march towards the Super Bowl. So on the season, I got us going 11-5 and 5 primetime games. So that'll be fun to watch. But I do have us 11-5. I don't know if we'll win the division. We might be up there with the Rams. We might be tied. We might be a wild card game, but I do see us playing them in the playoffs. So that about does it on everything about 49ers this week. I think I made a couple mistakes there. Mahomes isn't a rookie. It's his second year, but I view him as a rookie. That's why I probably said that. And I do got us winning versus Kansas City. So let's see. On to the NBA and the Lakers. Let's see what's going on around the league. Kawhi seems to be out of the Spurs sooner or later. It's kind of a question of when. And how. If he goes this year, he's going to have to be traded because his contract's up at the end of next year. So if someone like the Lakers are going to make a grab for him, they're going to have to trade a bunch of assets to Popovich and the Spurs to get him on their roster. Now, there are reports that he won't be available to the Lakers. He might be available to other teams like, say, Boston 76ers because they're in the East. But the Lakers, as of right now, don't seem to be an option because of Popovich. He does not believe in helping in interconference rivals, especially the Lakers. He has a special kind of hate for us, so I don't see him trading his star player to us to just get whooped on by that same player for the next couple years. In fact, it's a cardinal rule of his per Bleacher Report article by Timothy Rapp that it's a cardinal rule of Pop's not to trade within the division. And if you guys remember back to when we traded for Paul Gasol, Pop had some harsh comments about the Lakers and that trade specifically. Let me see here. Let me quote exactly what he said. "What they did in Memphis is beyond comprehension. There should be a trade committee that can scratch all trades that make no sense. I just wish I had been on a trade committee that oversees NBA trades. I'd like to elect myself to that committee. I would have voted no to the LA trade." All right, end quote. That's Pop on the trade that got us Paul Gasol and sent off Marc Gasol to the Memphis Grizzlies, which, if you look at it now, they kind of got the better end of that deal. I mean, we got some championships out of it, but they got the better player at the end of it. I mean, Marc Gasol, to me, turned out to be a better player than Paul. But on hearing that quote from Pop, my first reaction is he's a dick. Who had the audacity of him really pisses me off. Who in their right mind has the gall to say something like that, especially for a company like the NBA? Who the hell is Popovich to say a trade makes no sense when he's not involved in it? Trades go down between 2, maybe 3 teams, and that's all it involves, those 3 teams. So for him to be an ass and say there should be some kind of committee that oversees everything and whether they believe it makes sense or not should have the power to veto trades is complete bullshit. And says a lot about Pop, just the fact that he thinks that way. So to me, I don't think that trade's going to happen because of that thought process that he has, that mentality, especially because it's the Lakers and our history. He's not going to help us to get back on top. So I don't see it happen. But I'll play along and let's say it was a possibility. Let's say he is open to trade to us. Do we even really have a shot to get him? I don't know. I don't think we do. Look at it this way. What are we willing to give up to get Kawhi? What do you think of Kawhi? My take, Kawhi's a great two-way player. But for whatever reason, and maybe it's just me, I've never viewed him as the type of player to take over a game. I'm trying to remember back. I didn't have a chance to watch videos on his games in the playoffs or anything, but he just does not strike me as a player to take over a game. Now, maybe it's because his demeanor, he's so quiet, so soft-spoken, that I just don't see him as that type of leader that'll dominate a game and take over when it's crunch time. But, maybe I'm wrong. You guys tell me. Again, you can tell me on Twitter at Bay Podcast. Let me know if I'm wrong. Let me know what you think. Send me some clips or something. Maybe change my mind. I don't know. But I don't see Kawhi as that franchise player that you give the ball to when the game's on the line, like a Jordan, a Kobe, someone like that. Even a Dwayne Wade, I don't see him as that player. So seeing as that's how I view him, what would I be willing to give up to him for him? Well, realistically, if we're going to get him, it has to be Luol Deng has to be included in there somewhere because of the money. But we'd also either have to give up Josh Hart, which I don't want to do. I like Josh Hart. I think he's Derek Fisher 2.0. The dude averages like a double-double with rebounds, which, if we have him and Lonzo in the game, we have probably 2 of the best rebounding guards in the league, which does a lot for our defense and our offense, gets transition going. So would I be willing to part for him? I don't know. But it wouldn't be just him. You'd have to get rid of Hart and put together a package that has either Kuzma, Brandon Ingram, Lonzo, either all 3 or 2 of the 3. So who are you willing to part with? I don't want to part with anybody. I'm a big believer that right now the Lakers franchise is in the position that the Warriors were in a couple years ago when they had an option to trade Clay for Kevin Love to kind of boost their franchise and give it a jump start into that elite echelon. I think we're at that position where, and the Warriors chose to stand pat. They didn't make that trade, which looking back was the right move. We're in that position right now where we can get Kawhi to jumpstart our franchise and how we're viewed, but I don't think it's really going to jumpstart us to get closer to a championship. I'm of the belief that we stay the way we are. If Kawhi is that unhappy, and supposedly there's rumors that he wants to play for the Lakers, if he's that unhappy in San Antonio and they end up trading him, Kawhi holds the leverage. So even if they trade him away, that doesn't really matter, because if he doesn't want to resign at wherever they trade him to, he can let that be known. So if someone's willing to take a gamble on him, like let's say a Cleveland team, it's basically going to be a one-year rental if he really wants to be a Laker. He holds all the cards. If that's the case and he wants to be a Laker, I say wait him out. Why not keep our young core and then add him to the team? And we could probably sign Paul George this offseason and then add him to the mix. Now, the only issue with that would be is we're gonna be pretty wing heavy on our roster. We're gonna have Kawhi, Paul George, Kuzma, Ingram, and Randall, if hopefully we sign him. But that's a lot of wings, but we can always kick Kuzma to the bench. I don't think Ingram would be good at the bench. I wouldn't really want him on the bench. I think he's going to be, along with Kawhi, probably one of the most dominant players we'd have on both ends of the court just because of his length. So I really would want to use him as much as possible. Kuzma is kind of, as much as I like him and I want to think of him as a Clay-type player, he's really just a trigger man off the bench. I mean, he's instant offense. To him, it'd probably suit him the best to come in with the second unit and just get the green light and gun away as much as he wants. That'd probably be the best for him. So that's if we wait him out. Now, if we trade for Kawhi, we have to give up youth, and I'm just dead set against it. I don't want to give up Lonzo, Kuzma, or Ingram. To me, those three are untouchable. I don't want to give up Hart, but he's not untouchable. But to me, I don't think that it's possible for us to make that trade unless we give up two of those three core players. On top of that, we still have that's assuming that we're the only player in the game, and we're not going to be. Boston and the 76ers are going to be after him too, along with a bunch of other teams, because who wouldn't go after Kawhi if he got the chance? But when it comes to assets, I don't think we could really compete with either of those teams, because Boston can put together a package of Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and picks, which those two right there, I mean, if you've been watching the playoffs, Jaylen Brown balling. So he's playing so well that they might not even want to go after Kawhi because of how well he's playing. But the fact that he is playing so well makes it more enticing if they want to dangle him in a package along with some picks and Jason Tatum or one or the other and some picks, because they do have a lot of assets. And then you pair Gordon Hayward, Kyrie Irving, and Kawhi Leonard, you got a squad in the East. And the East is going to be softer with basically, even if LeBron's in the East or whatever he decides to do, the only competition for that type of squad would be the 76ers, who is another team that can go after Kawhi and also has more assets than we do. They have more draft picks than us, and they can put together a package that has Markelle Fultz, who they don't even, I mean, he's the number one pick, and they don't even really need him. They didn't use him. The squad was good without him, and he's just a luxury, basically. You can put Fultz together, Dario Saric, or Covington, and some picks, or, a mix-up however you want to. But Fultz would probably be the core of that deal, and they would just build around him in order to get Kawhi. So then you'd have Kawhi, Ben Simmons, and Embiid. You basically got all-stars in every position and all pro players at every position. That would be a monster squad. And they have more enticing packages to give in order to get Kawhi. So the only hope for the Lakers in a trade would be that Kawhi says he doesn't want to play anywhere else, won't resign anywhere else. Then that gives the Lakers all the leverage, because we can lowball them. We can send a Luol Deng, Josh Hart, and maybe 1 or 2, 3 picks, whatever, to get him over. That would probably be the only way we can get him and keep the core intact. But honestly, it doesn't look like that'd be able to happen, and we'd have to give up somebody or one or two players from the core. So if he does want to be a Laker, just wait him out. I don't see why. We took the approach with Paul George. Paul George, we know, wants to be a Laker. We could have traded for him, but we didn't, and that was the right move. I think if that's the case with Kawhi Leonard, we do it again, because also he's coming off an injury, tendinopathy. There's two types, and I think he has the more severe one. So being in the medical field, I'm not a doctor, but I kind of know somewhat about it in regards to tendons. That injury he has can turn out to be pretty serious as far as recovery, because tendons are different from muscles in how they recover. Also, we know that he has a more serious one because he tried to come back and they had to put him on ice again. At least he didn't feel comfortable enough to keep playing, which started their whole saga of, is he faking, is he not? I'm tending to side with Kawhi Leonard, because playing sports, I know that I've had that same circumstance where I pulled a hamstring, and when you pull a hamstring and your doctor diagnoses it, the team kind of goes, okay, this is your return time, 2 to 4 weeks, whatever it's going to be. They just assume, okay, that's when you're going to be back. They might even add 2-3 weeks, just to, okay, long estimate. Anything other than that, they have a hard time believing you, because people tend to believe doctors in sports over the players. And in this situation, I believe Kawhi because of the injury that he has. Because the things with tendons is when a muscle breaks or ruptures, or you have an injury, red blood cells start the clotting, and there's better healing when it comes to muscles. Tendons aren't like that. Tendons, like I'll give you an example. I had de Quervain's in my wrist. It's a tendon issue where it just hurts like hell when you bend let's say you put your thumb in your fist and you bend your hand forward. Hurts like hell. It's kind of like carpal tunnel. Well, the difference if with that injury as opposed to something like, let's say, my forearm or bicep, the tendon doesn't have a lot of blood circulating it, so the healing process is slow, because tendons just don't carry blood cells like muscles and blood do. They don't have them. You need that for the healing. So in order for me to get over my de Quervain's and to get the inflammation down, I had to get a steroid shot right in my wrist. So a cortisone shot to help with the inflammation. That was the only way I was able to get over it. I tried therapy for months. I tried all these kinds of different things, exercise. It didn't matter. It wasn't until I got that shot that it helped with the inflammation. Now that doesn't mean the tendon's better, because I've had instances where it flares up. Same with my my ligaments on my knees. I hyperextended my knee, and I did the whole rehab, and they've just never been the same. Now, the tendon, ligaments, they're pretty much the same. They just attach different parts of the body. So but recovery, it's pretty much the same. So whether it's tendon, ligament, or ligament, the recovery is pretty much the same. So like when I hyperextended my knee, my MCL and my PCL, they just never been the same. Now with Kawhi's being in the tendons in his thigh, who knows if he ever gets back to what he was, because he has the more severe of the two injuries. Now, with that said, why not wait him out a year? Let him play in San Antonio or wherever he goes, wherever they trade him to, and see how he does for a year. Let's not risk a roster spot and all the money we'd have to pay him. Let somebody else take that gamble. Let somebody else trade a bunch of assets to San Antonio to see how he does, while we watch in the shadows, see how he does. And if he really wants to be a Laker, he plays well, and we wait him out, we sign him in the offseason. Keep our young core, build a championship roster, and move forward that way. That's my opinion on the matter. That's what I would do with Kawhi. I mean, I'm good if we don't add anybody this offseason. I like our core. If we add maybe a Paul George, fine. He's not a must-have, especially after seeing how he bombed out in the playoffs or how he's doing so as of now. I don't think he's someone we have to add, but he'd be a nice addition to have. Kawhi, if we can get him, only if the circumstances are right, because we can't have another Dwight Howard situation where we mortgage the future to try to get this one-star player to bring us back to prominence, and we end up shitting the bed and setting ourselves back 5 years. So that's my opinion on the Kawhi matter. Let's see what else we got going on around the league. We got Bron and the Cavs are struggling versus the Pacers. The only reason I'm bringing that up is because Bron to the Lakers is still a hot button issue and people think he's coming. The reason I bring it up is because as Laker fans, I'm sure we're watching that series. And if you guys are watching it, you should be very wary of what you ask for. I don't want him on this team because of what I'm seeing in that series. Offensively, his numbers are great. Now, he's averaging over 30, almost a triple-double. He's doing great statistically. But if you watch the games, his defense is just pathetic. It's horrible, and he's hindering the whole team. He's playing basically zone defense while everybody else is playing man. So he's out here playing center field, trying to cover for everybody, and he's just not. Either it's laziness, either he's tired, or he just doesn't have the ability to cover ground anymore. But he's covering ground fast enough, and if the guy playing man gets beat, LeBron doesn't stop him, and the guys are getting to the rack. He's playing piss poor defense, and to me, that's a huge thing that I just can't let slide, because being that he's going to be in his 16th year, something like that doesn't get better. I don't care about his scoring, because LeBron's scoring's not built on skill. LeBron's scoring, he'll be able to put up points as long as he can continue to keep dipping that shoulder and just powering people out the way. That's fine. But on defense, especially with what we're trying to do with the Lakers, especially how Luke emphasizes it as much as he does, if you have one person that's lagging on defense, it's going to screw everything up. And if that one player is LeBron James, then what do? Is Luke going to hold him accountable? Is Magic going to let Luke hold him accountable? Are the players going to be okay with it if he's not held accountable? It's just, to me, you bring too much drama when you bring LeBron. I don't want him on the roster. I don't care how he was asked the other day about his team, and he threw him under the bus indirectly. I'll play it for you guys. You guys tell me what you think.
Role player type teammates throughout your career. I think with Boobie Gibson had a 30-point game back in the day. Step up like that. Is there anything you can say or encourage or help try to manifest to get a guy to play above his kind of pay grade?
What are you guys looking for? You guys think I'm gonna throw my teammates under the bus? Is that that's what? No, I'm not about that. Guys just got to play better, including myself. I had 6 turnovers tonight. I was horrible in the third quarter, couldn't make a shot. If I make some better plays in the third quarter, then the lead don't slip. So, we know we all got to play better as a collective group. And, no matter who it is, and yeah, you get production. We got production today. To start the game, in the second half, it wasn't much production, but we still had a chance to win.
What the fuck are you talking about, LeBron? What? Why even bring up your teammates? The question was about your leadership. What can you do to get more out of the players? Not, hey, LeBron, do you think they're shitty or not? So there's no reason to start off with, you think I'm going to throw my teammates under the bus? Is that what I do? It's stupid. There's no reason to start off like that. It makes no sense to me. Now, I get it. I'm splitting hairs because people are going to go, oh, did you listen to it? He takes fault and takes blame and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, he does. But the problem is the way he starts off. The question was about his leadership skills. And instead of talking about his leadership skills, he automatically goes to throwing his teammates under the bus, as if they were alluding that he was trying to do it or that they wanted him to do it. Neither of those were the case. They asked him what his leadership plan was to get the most out of them. And I just didn't care for his response. I didn't care for his attitude. And to me, the Lakers don't need that, especially if he's going to come and just stat stuff to try to get the best numbers he can on the tail end of his career. We don't need that. We need someone that's going to actually contribute on defense to help this team win a championship, because if he's the star player, the center of this team, and he's lagging on defense like that, then why should we expect anybody else to do more if he's not doing it? So, to me, I'm I'm okay. I'd rather be without him. Let's see here. What else we got going on for the Lakers? Lopez is willing to come back and sign for less money if we are a contender. I'm a little bit torn on that one. I do like Lopez. I like his three-point shooting. I like what it adds to the team because it takes big men out of the paint and allows Randall to go one-on-one if we still have Randall around. We do have Thomas Bryant, who's supposedly in the G League been a really good three-point shooter. I have yet to see it in any NBA game, but that's what I keep hearing about him. And we have Ivica Zubac, who I like a lot, is only, 20 years old and has great touch for a player. Maybe he can learn to shoot three, maybe not, but I do like him as a center, and he's only 20 years old and a lot cheaper. I'm open to Lopez coming back if we can get him for, let's see, he made $22.6 million last year. There's no way he's going to get anything near that if he comes back. So maybe, depending on who we sign in the offseason, a 1-year deal, maybe $15 million, depending on how it plays out. I'm sure Pelinka can work out the numbers with him if we really want him back. But if not, that's fine. I think we can move forward with the youth movement. And last but not least, this being the pain episode or pain-themed episode, I got to say it was really painful watching Lonzo at the end of the season. Particularly the last Golden State Warriors game that we had. I've been wanting to address this, but I just hadn't got around to making the podcast, so I'll do it now. That game really pissed me off and was painful to watch because Lonzo was not assertive. Now, I get it. He goes into these lulls where he kind of gets his point. He gets his rebounds, gets his assists, and offensively, he kind of just gets whatever he comes across. He's not real assertive. That game pissed me off because not only did we lose to the Warriors, but they had a bunch of nobodies playing. Everybody was hurt. It was just Kevin Durant and a bunch of nobodies. And it was the kind of game where someone like Lonzo should have taken over, especially at the end of the season. There's no reason for you to take it easy, to kind of take it as it comes. It's the end of the season. You got nothing to lose. Go balls out, go hard, and shoot every time. I don't give a damn, but just be assertive. There's no reason to play the way he did, especially against the competition that he did. There were just a bunch of nobodies, and he did next to nothing against them. To me, it was really pathetic to watch. And I'm usually a big Lonzo homer. But that game really made me think about what he plans to do this offseason. I know Magic came out after the season ended and told him he wanted to be more assertive, and I'm pretty sure that game was something that he reflected on with Lonzo. Hopefully he puts on some weight, which, again, I don't care if he does or doesn't. I don't think that's particular. To me, it's his mindset that he has to come out and be assertive. You look at the cat on the Jazz, Donovan Mitchell. He's a rookie, but he's taken over that team. He's become its leader, its go-to player. Jason Tatum, while in the playoffs with Kyrie gone, has taken it upon himself to be assertive, to drive, to come up clutch, to be that person with the ball at the end of the game. That's what we needed from Lonzo, especially in that instance against that Warriors team. So I was really disappointed in him. Hopefully he comes back. Hopefully you guys make it through this time of year, make it to the draft, and enjoy the Lakers offseason. Hopefully, I think the NBA draft's at the end of June, I believe. So we got one pick in the first round. We'll see how that goes. See what happens when free agency starts. Hopefully Magic and Pelinka can make something happen. Give us something to look forward to. So until then, you guys take care. Like I say, time is our most precious resource, and I appreciate you guys taking some of your time out to listen to this podcast. Take care. God bless.